Thursday once again, and welcome back to your best find of the week, ADRAMADA. Another day of Rush Ask Me Anything. Digital Alchemy. Hey, good to see you. I didn't know if there was going to be a show today. It's a very last minute decision. I have been just murdered all week, and I didn't do any kind of show prep for anything. I put together a show this afternoon. It's okay. I didn't make a banner for it, so it didn't look like there's anything. Because of the week, I didn't do any social announcements or anything like that, but we are cooking. So, this is ADRAMADA, another Dave Rush thing. I am the aforementioned Dave Rush, also known as Commodore ADRAMADA, and you who so happily join us and make this show be a show are the ADRAMADA Armada. Yay! Click the thing that I haven't rehooked back up in ages. So we're here because we're a bunch of people who like tech. We like to talk about it. We like to play with it. And we're not afraid to dive into other non-technical topics, social topics, religion, sex, politics, whatever. I got a fun show for us. Today, as we record this live, is Thursday, August 15th. If you're not watching this live, I hope you'll reconsider doing that sometime in the future. We get together at 7 p.m. Central Time. If it's Central Daylight Savings Time in the States, then we're here at 7 Central Daylight Savings Time. If it's Standard Time, it's 7 Standard Time. Come on in. We would love to hear your digital voice as you add to it, ask questions. Hey, speaking of that, so just something to chew on throughout for the chat. And I'll try to remember to mention this again, or, excuse me, if I don't, somebody else should. What is your go-to meal? Not, I'm hungry this week. I'm going to plan to make, something exorbitant, say steak, whatever. You're looking at the watch and say, I haven't eaten all day and I'm hungry and I just want to whip something up in 20, 30 seconds or whatever. What is your go-to? And I'm going to ask that in two flavors. What's your go-to cold, maybe a bowl of cereal, PBJ, whatever, and what's your go-to hot? And I will give you mine at the end. Let me put that right here so I can remember it. Your quickie go-to meal. And anybody who says salad, just tune out right now. Okay. All right, so let's see. Today is Thursday, August 15th. And is today noteworthy for anything in history? Why, yes. On August 15th in the year 1620, 404 years ago, the Mayflower set sail from Southampton, England, with 102 pilgrims aboard. 85 years ago, on August 15th, 1939, no, we're not going to talk about the Beer Hall Putsch, which wasn't on this date. The Wizard of Oz premiered at Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. And in keeping with that, another great event, social event that happened 55 years ago, just 30 years exactly to the day after The Wizard of Oz came out, 1969, the Woodstock Festival opened Bethel, New York, on Max Yasgur's dairy farm. But that was a farm. I don't think I knew that it was a dairy farm. Watch the documentaries. There's a handful of them sometime. The headliner panicked and said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to, not the headliner, the first act. And I'll let you look up who that was. So they had somebody else set up to be the next player, and they dragged and said, hey, man, you're going to open the show. And it was Richie Havens, who did one of his standards, and he came up with a new one, pretty much on the spot, which everybody knows as Freedom, Freedom. And there's all kinds of other great, great, great artists in there, of course. So, eat up, orc, the quickie announcements. We've got a Discord home for people who love and follow tech. Link is in, now the link is in the chat feed. My contact information, you can always contact me on the Discord server. I'm always on it if I'm awake. But if not, here's a couple email addresses you can contact me. I'm on X as DRushTX, and I think same name on Mastodon. Is that true? Let me look at that. Mastodon account. No, DRushTX at mastodon.social. All right. Can't imagine anybody would contact me. There's always something. Let's do where we've been and where we're going, because that's always fun to do. Let me move that. There we go. All right, so last week we did part 2 of a 2-part series on enterprise routers. Part 1 was, this is a not enterprise router, but it's just like one. It has all the features in it. It just doesn't have the power to handle a full-size enterprise. And that was from Ubiquity, from their ERX, their EdgeMax line. So we looked at some basic internals and some basic functions that edge routers have. And then last week we took a little deeper dive and looked at, we certainly didn't configure all of them, but looked at all of the features in that particular router, which is the same ones you're going to find in an enterprise router, plus a few additionals. Like an enterprise router doesn't usually have a DHCP server, much less 5 of them, doesn't usually have a DNS server. But these Ubiquity routers are just amazing, these EdgeMax. And can't imagine why you... there's one that I am not buying. It's a buy it now on eBay. I think they want $20 and $8 shipping. $19.99 and $8 shipping. And so if you want to beat me to the punch, it's not an ERX. I think it's an ERPoE 5-port. But you'll know by the price. $20 and $8 shipping somewhere out of California. And it's a wowzer. I really debated hard, and the only reason I didn't buy it is because I'm trying to stay for my kits all the same make and model. So if you get that and you need a little help with it, happy to help out. Let's see. Oh, speaking of routers. So I've been building these network kits, hands-on, hot phone, and hot cars, the computer assembly repair simulator kits. Having a great time with that, finishing up the labs, and I'm just starting to write the labs for the network one. So I've been gathering equipment and starting to experiment what I want to do, how far I want to carry this. And I have a bunch of managed switches. I have a bunch of those ERX routers and a lot of other goodies, Raspberries and whatever's. And I have been really good about when something comes in, getting it ship-shape and up to date, except for the routers. I plug them in, make sure that they get blinky lights on them, and then I've left them all in a box, which means, except for the one that we used for the last couple of weeks for the presentation, they are all woefully behind on firmware. So I set a day aside earlier this week to flash all the firmware, and I'm old school. These aren't that old, so they're a little safer to flash, but I just panic when I hit the big go button. And I walk away, because first of all, these things take much longer than I think they should. And, I sit there and I see wheels spinning, and something's going wrong. It's awful. So I walk away for about 10 minutes or so. I come back and reboot, and they're all done. It's a fun thing. I was doing an update on a Win 10 VM last night before I went to bed, and it seemed to have gotten stuck. The screens didn't move. There's 2 things that were updating, and one was stuck at 7%, one was at 44%. And I watched it for 45 minutes, never moved. I said, well, I'm not going to do anything here because this is Windows and they might actually be doing something. So I just turned the monitor off and went to bed, came down this morning, and was gratified to see an error message that said the upgrade fail. Wonderful. If it fails enough to give me messages and things like that, cool. We'll just try it again. Click, try it again, and 5 minutes later, it was all fully updated. So thanks for not screwing me over for a change, Microsoft. What are we doing today? Did I make a... No, I didn't make a slide. This was a put together. So what I did is I made a collection of some of my favorite command line utilities, some that we should be using almost daily, and some that you'll never use. Got a handful of them, 10, 12, something like that. And we'll do them real quick, but it's kind of fun. Been a very busy week, 3 gigs this week, and a couple gigs next week, including the one where I'm traveling on, no host yet. Again, I'm looking for volunteers, I'm looking for recommendations. Somebody take over my show next week and do with it what you will. I've had a hummingbird feeder outside this window all summer, and one hummingbird has been visiting it until yesterday. He finally, I don't know, not that bright, so I'm thinking it's a she, but she got a buddy. They're, of course, very similar to me, same species. And I can't tell if they're friends and chasing each other for fun, or if one is being territorial. They'll sometimes appear together, and they take off the other, one behind the other, so maybe it's a chase off. But I've seen them both come now at different times. I can kind of tell them apart. It's interesting. All right, here, let's see who's here, and then we'll do some news, eh? Yeah, I didn't put the show together till late, so nobody could have gotten real early. Tullowick gets in about 2.5 hours early. Thank you for the congrats. 500 subscribers. 350 of them are from my Pure Prairie League vid. But hello, Shy Moonstone. You made it on time. Seconds after Tullowick. And then everybody turns up closer to showtime. Live in 10 minutes. My announcement, Patricia Grace, 500. Where do you? The screen I see doesn't show that, so but I did get an email to that effect. So okay. Greetings. Rumor has it that Andre may join us. Don't know, but it'd be great. Yeah, Andre, if you're here, thanks for staying up that late, and if not, completely understandable. And we shall see you. I'm indoors and no, not gonna do the fish sticks jokes. But not because they're not funny. That was a great South Park episode. Same in making fish sticks now. For hot. Okay, fish sticks for hot. Okay, I thought we were doing fish sticks. Okay. I haven't had a fish stick. 2 words, second one starting with S-T. In my freezer in decades. Interesting thought. I keep Stouffer's lasagna and frozen meals on hand for those times. That's cool. I like that. Can you still get a Swanson's TV dinner? Or Hungry Man? For cold sushi. You know, we got another name for that down here in Texas. We call it baked. That's for catching some fish that's big enough that you're willing to eat. Stouffer's mac and cheese. If I were going to make that a go-to, it wouldn't be pre-made. I would make mac and cheese. Jason Helms, what up, y'all? Good to see you, my friend. Cold cereal. Okay. Jason, if you're missing the boat here, we are filling in your quickie go-to meal. It's late. I haven't eaten it all today, and I got to eat something before I go to bed, or an hour or two before I go to bed, if that's your habit. What is your go-to quickie cold meal and your go-to quickie hot meal? Sketty and sauce. Homemade sauce. Hamburger Helper. I love Hamburger Helper. The problem is I can't eat pasta. Though they are now announcing that keto is deadly and will kill you. And so it might be time to modify the diet. We've already kind of modified it and changed it up one day a week. Tuna fish. Hard to go wrong with that. Spaghetti was going to be my first answer, but it sounded like he was asking for quicker. No, it's whatever your go-to is. Doesn't have to be 8 seconds. If it takes 10 minutes, fine. Sushi is not necessarily. Yeah, I know the difference between sashimi and sushi. Nevertheless, cucumber, daikon, ume. I didn't read that first. Okay. All right, well, let's see what we got going on in. No, I can't answer. My old taste and appetite has completely disappeared. I'm sorry. I knew you had some challenges. Well, let's set up some news, see what's going on in the world. When I was prepping the show, I wasn't going to do a show. I was just going to do news and call it a day. So I got a lot of news stories, but I will try to make them lickety-split. Bump with you, and... All right, we start off with space news. They found lots of liquid water on Mars, oceans of water on Mars. At least they think they have. You know, nothing's a fact until you stick a straw in it, right? Martianologists, I made that word up, say there's oceans of water on Mars, but not actually on Mars, in Mars, lying somewhere between 11 and 20 kilometers or kilometers, whichever you prefer, which is about 6 to 12 miles deep, and we can't bring that kind of drilling equipment to Mars, not for many, many decades. So, okay, there's water under there, we can't do anything with it. Mpox, formerly monkeypox, but somebody decided that was politically incorrect and has renamed it Mpox. Are you missing global pandemic panic? Well, thank goodness, because monkeypox is back in the news. The World Health Organization has declared monkeypox a global public health emergency. Except the first report that I saw on this earlier this week, it was a global public health concern. So the story. Rising cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, and the relatively slow but inexorable spread to nearby countries. The WHO hastily convened a meeting of experts to study the outbreak, and today the committee met and advised that in its view the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern, and the WHO chief has accepted that advice. Okay. And this particular declaration arm is considered in international health regulation the highest level of alarm, and this alarm is legally binding in 196 countries. You must be alarmed, country A. Okay, we are alarmed. Thank you. We have followed the world law. Let's see. So, we want to stop it. Okay, they do. There's a couple vaccines available. I didn't look in to see if any of them are RNA, and I wouldn't, speaking here for myself, do it prophylactically. Primary focus is at the source, DRC and its neighbors. In the U.S., the CDC followed suit and declared Mpox a continental emergency. The second wide-awake kidney transplant happened earlier this week, late last week, something like that. 74-year-old Harry Stackhouse from Illinois was awake during his recent kidney transplant. He felt no pain as he chatted with doctors. You're a doc. You're doing a transplant. Do you want your patient saying, hey, do you play pickleball? I'm thinking about picking it up. Yes, Mr. Stack Plant, Stackhouse. The point here is they are trying to avoid, with this and many future surgeries, general anesthesia, which is fraught with risk relative to other things, and so they're doing this basically with a spinal. And so you can stay awake and watch them cut out your kidney or put one in for you. This particular last one's really cool. And just over an hour. I don't know if the anesthetic method makes it faster or slower or whatever, but that sure seems pretty darn quick to swap out a kidney, huh? Let's see, when did they do that? Oh, that was last month, July 15th. Yeah. Starliner news. I posted it on at least one Discord server the other day, but if you hadn't followed out, NASA held another update session on Tuesday regarding several ongoing missions, including the plight of the Starliner crew. And they were supposed to have announced the decision. They told us before that mid-August they would make and announce the decision. So the announcement was, we don't know what to do yet. Hopefully we'll make a decision in a week or two. So the plan still stands. If they have to come back on a SpaceX Dragon, it ain't going to happen until February of next year, which will leave them up there a little longer than the original scheduled 8 or 9 days. It will be 8 months. I read this. It's deep. I don't want to go diving deep into it. But the headline is probably the most interesting thing. Robot planning tool accounts for human carelessness. This is the beginning of Skynet sentience. I know what the human's going to do. I know that the human is fallible, and I am ready to adjust, compensate, or even head the human off at the pass. New algorithm may make robots safer by making them more aware of human inattentiveness. I find this story horrifying, terrifying. Here's another AI kind of newsy thing. I think the Japanese did this. No, the Australians. This came out of University of South Australia. And we've had some interesting news come out of the University of South Australia in the last month or so. Should we try the Australian accent with this one again? The computer algorithm has achieved 98% accuracy in predicting different diseases by analyzing the color of the human tongue with a T. Proposed imaging system can diagnose diabetes, stroke, anemia, asthma, liver and gallbladder conditions, COVID-19, and a range of vascular and GI issues, according to new research. Okay, last story. Something IT-oriented, a new spin on Alma Linux. Now, Alma Linux is an enterprise flavor of Linux. Red Hat, Rocky, Alma, Fedora, the four biggies. And Alma's been doing some really cool things because they decided to not be downstream in the pure sense. They're downstream, but they've decided that if there's some cool feature that Red Hat didn't implement, or if there's some patch that they didn't implement, Alma does it. So, you know what? We want our people to have the Red Hat experience, which is a great experience, and it's a powerful enterprise-grade Linux. But they're adding more to the mix than Red Hat is. That's kind of cool. Well, they've got a new spin called Orion, Alma Linux-based desktop distro. Caters to everyday computing needs while bringing enterprise Linux to home users. That's kind of a cool thing, in my never to be humble opinion. Oh, what do we got going on here? Am I totally off kilter? No, that is on an angle. Okay. Looking at the image. My gosh. I didn't clean out all those notes. Let's just roll. Okay, cool. Well, we ran about 5 minutes over last time. We are not going to do that. Let me see what you guys are having to say, and then we're going to dive right into tonight's project. Fun and interesting, some really useful, some rarely useful command line commands in the Linux command line environment. Okay, let's go over here. Canada, always enjoy sushi. Haven't had it in forever. I have been trying, when I go to restaurants, especially like a buffet, to try something new and different every time. And every couple of weeks, we'll hit a Chinese buffet, and the Chinese buffets around here have added sushi bars to most of them, and I have eschewed them up until recently, but only because I'm always finding something that I'd rather try first. So I will open my mind and go try some sushi. Jason deleted that message really quick. Get some. Somebody posted a poll the other day. Name a classic old video game using a term from the game that everyone who played it will recognize. I posted get some. Don't consider your eternal soul, kids. Stay glued to the news and find out what you should fear next. That's exactly right. Hey, Patricia, and all of us who share a faith. I saw an interview with Alice Cooper yesterday, who is a very devout and avowed Christian. And he was talking about how he came to Christianity. I won't bore everybody because I know you're not all Christians here, and that's okay. He said, I didn't come first to love Jesus. I came first because I feared God. I looked at hell and said, no. And so I came to God, and then I learned about it and loved Jesus. So I thought that was a really interesting approach. And I wonder how many Christian converts come to it that way. I never want to be awake with surgery. It seems scary. Do you remember when you were a kid and the worst thing in the world was to get shot? You couldn't watch it. It was a butt shot, but an arm shot. You turn your head while they're working on this arm. And then there comes that one day when you just screw up your courage and you say, I'm going to watch this and it's not going to change anything. And that's pretty cool. And I remember doing that somewhere around 8 or 9 years old, maybe younger than that. And then along the way, after I got out of college, I didn't want to do tech, and so I got into some other fields. And for about a year, I paramedicked. You went through about a year and a half of classes, and then I paramedicked on the road. And you lose your sense of gross and your sense of fear with that thing. And I, having been through that, would happily watch my own surgery. In fact, I would offer to help. You want me to hold that for you, Doc? Or let me cut that. Shrimp tempura. I have to do that on a non-keto day because of the fried dough. Ready. God bless you. Shoe. Thank you. Sometimes I say it and I don't think in advance that somebody's going to do the joke. Missed the boat. Oh, yeah, I get one more thing here before we start the project. It's called I Got Some Cool Stuff. There was a sale at AliExpress the other day. I spent about $10 on 5 items, and I have 2 of them here on the table. This was like $1.30. This is a remote-controlled on-off switch, good for 120 or 250 volts. I have them all over the place, running off my phones and things like that. But so for $1.20, how do you go wrong with a remote-controlled relay? And I was reading the the directions today and see what all the thinouts did, which is just unfathomably small print, especially when you achieve my level of decrepitude. But there's this one particular image here. I know you can't see it, but it says, when attaching the firewire, which is in red, and I assume somebody tried to translate that from Cantonese or Mandarin or something like that, from what should be a hot wire or live voltage wire. So I thought that was kind of cool. I posted this on social media and on Discord, and other than great humorous answers, I do not have an answer. What the heck am I holding here? This is a bolt. This is a nice threaded end. It's solid. It's not a pipe. It's got a nice grippable end. It looks like nobody's ever gripped with tools before. The paint is on nice and thick. This thing has been used. The threads have a little bit of usage to them, and you can't see it in the picture, but there's clearly this thing has been into something. And I don't know if this hole is for putting a rod through so that you can turn it like that. Again, I don't think that's the case because there's paint inside that hole. It could be just a hole to secure safety wire or something like that, but everybody can figure out what this is. It's all metal. Any dark marks that you see here, that might look like black rubber or something like that, nah, it's just found it on the road, taking a walk. And this is not a big one, but it was cheap. It was like $3. This is a 60 millimeter, 6 centimeter, not that, yeah, probably 6 centimeter, N52 super powerful neodymium magnet. I didn't try this thing. I don't know if I can get this off if I do this. Whack. Okay, that one's not so bad when you put it on the end. So I got a couple of them. I sent one to my son. Use these for magnet fishing, right? Just put a rope on them, and you can use this particular one in either orientation, side by side, or pocket watch mode. Throw it into water under the bridge, and start dragging, see what you come up with. And this one comes with a little kind of warning. If it's a metal bridge, when you come up, don't get anywhere near the superstructure, or it will just latch on like nobody's business. I got another tool here. This is so strong. Ah! Ah! Oh, I got this off earlier today. There it goes. Don't put it near electronics. All right, let's go see what's going on with, what do you got here? Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Sounds right. Okay. I was about to say magnet fishing, and you were right. It looks like my magnet fishing united. The one that I have on in a bucket to order is this big. It can tow an aircraft carrier. Yep. Duke 'em. Duke Nukem. Get some. Read messages here. Watch out for the grenades and handguns. Yeah. I don't know what to come up with here. I know we have a little retention pond in the neighborhood. I'm going to start there, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to come up with patio furniture. Oh, there's a channel? Of course there's a channel. There's a channel for everything. All right, let's talk show. What do I need to do? I need to get putty up. Hey, that's good. Get head up and transition. All right, so let's talk about a few commands here that are fun, useful, practical, impractical, useless. But some of them, these are go-tos. Many of them are go-tos for me. And I want to start by introducing you to the which command. And we can do which --help. Which simply says, sometimes you may have more than one instance of a command installed in your Linux system. And if you type that command in, you might want to know which one is the one that's going to execute. There's rules, and if you know all the variables and the parameters, you can figure it out. But my favorite way is just to type in which, and then the name of the command. Now watch this here. I'm going to do about 4 of them as examples. How about top? If I type in the command top, which top command is going to run? Oh, the one that's in user bin. How about Firefox? We're on Firefox. Also, user bin. Where's the which command coming from? The default one. User bin. So let's find one that's not in user bin. The file system checker. And that one's in user sbin. So this is a really nice, simple utility that helps you do 2 things. One, distinguish if you have multiple versions of a command, which one's going to run when you type it in without a full path. And 2, if you just don't know where some command is, and you want to go find it, you can use which in the name of the command. All right, cool thing. If we've got which, we should also have watch. Watch is a really cool command. What it'll do is you say watch and you follow it up with the name of a command. And it will run that command by default every 2 seconds and show you the results on screen. For instance, this one's going to seem really boring. There's a command in Linux called date. Shows you the date. So every 2 seconds, this thing is running the date command. And you can see the date command includes time in it, seconds in it. So we're seeing this second counter go up by 2 seconds every 2 seconds. Control C to get out. Now, how about I have a folder that people are constantly adding and deleting files from, and that's acceptable. Maybe it is acceptable. It's a scratch folder on the network. And I might want to keep an eye on that just for fun. So I can do watch the ls command and the name of the folder, the path of the folder, where those files are being uploaded and downloaded. And it's running the ls command every 2 seconds in here in the dev folder. Nothing's changing because I'm not doing anything in there, of course. Once you get the idea, Control C. So handy command, and if you want to change the interval, we can say watch help and discover, -n or minus interval followed by the number of seconds that you want to change the interval. So how about I want to change the date watch, watch -n5 date. So now it's updating every 5 seconds and running the date command. 16, 5 seconds later, we should see this go to 21. There we go. Control C to get it. So we got which and watch. Cool commands. I don't know about you, but I use this command all the time in all my Linuxes. I need to know how much free space I have on my storage device. df is the disk statistic checker for content, and when I want to just see how much space and how it's organized on my hard drive, df-h. Commit that one to memory. That is as important a command you will ever run. So my file system in the tempfs 781 megs. Most of it's available. I'm only using 1%, 3.7 gig megs. Over here, my tempfs, 3.9 gigs available. Here's my main storage area. It's configured to hold 57 gigs. I'm using 11 gigs, leaves me 45, give or take. So 20% in use. That's a good thing. I like that one. How about, I want to know how much space is taken up by the files in a particular directory. That's du, followed by the name of the directory. So I want to see the current directory. I can say dot. And there's all the files in there, some tiny little 4-byte files. Sometimes those are directory names. Firefox in the snap folder is taking up 196K. One's in the snap folder, taking up that. What I don't get here, oh, by the way, current directory, I got 240K worth of stuff in the current directory, and it always, by default, says whatever directory you're asking me to look in, I will look in and under that directory. So let's try another one. How about space used up in the dev folder? All right. But notice though, there's a lot of empty directories here, not much stuff. What I want to know is the total amount of space occupying those folders or directories or whatever. So for that, we're going to add one switch. Let's do the local one again here. It's -C or minus total dot. So tell me how much space is taken up by the files and folders in my current directory. Enter, and now down here we get the total 240K. Total of all those zeros is 0. So that's a handy dandy little command. df-h, du, perhaps with -C and a path. Hey, you're in the command line, and you got a math problem. You could open up your graphical user interface and bring up a calculator, or the one you have on your desk, or whatever. But how about a command line calculator that you want to run real quick? Binary calculator, or bring up calculator if you like. So, quick math here. How about 4 plus 10? I can type. Hey. And to get out of this one, you can do anything here. How about 4? I don't know. I haven't tried all the math symbols in here. 4 squared. Nah, I didn't like that. 4 times 4. Okay. To get out of here, if you type exit, you'll get an error message. And same for Control C. But if you Control C, it says use quit to exit. Oh, okay, quit. So a nice, quickie little command line math. Hey, I want to run a command. What's a good one? Top. But I don't know how to run it. So I can do top help. I don't know what all that means. It's not very good help. I could read man pages. Man top. But sometimes I just want to know what some command is. I was poking around in user bin, and good golly, I don't know what the mock command is. What is mock? And you get a quickie summary, pattern scanning and text processing language. What is yes? And we started this out with wondering about the top command. So how about what is top? Displays Linux processes. Cool. 3 more. Who and W, very closely related commands. Who shows you who is logged into this system, their IP addresses, and how they're logged in. So this one is logged in remotely from this IP station, likewise here. This one is directly logged in using the keyboard and screen on there, and there's other modes and methods. So that's kind of cool. The W command gives you some similar information, and it gives you a little bit more information about what they're doing right now. I'm right now sitting at 173, and I'm sorry, I'm at 175. I'm running the W command. I'm logged in also from another machine. It's over at .173, and it's running the bash shell. And the one that's at the station right now is running GNU. the desktop environment. Last one. Free. Plenty of parameters and switches and things like that. But this gives you quickie critical memory statistics. This thing's got 8 gigs of memory in it. I'm using under a gig right now, 893 megs of regular memory. Got a half a gig free. I got a bunch shared with video, got buffering. My total availability is 6.67 gigs. Over here in swap memory, which is kind of like the swap partition, or it's like swap partition or the virtual volume in Windows. You see what's going on there. Hey, that is, for a change, a nice quickie presentation, huh? Who said that? Hey, if you just tuned in, we're doing a little informal poll. I'm not keeping any records. Let me get my face off of here. Utility. No, yes, no, maybe. That's the one. What's your go-to quickie meal? You haven't had anything to eat all day. You just want to grab a quick bite of something before you head off and do another project, or catch a little movie before you go to bed, something like that. And we're looking for what's your favorite quickie go-to cold? Some people have suggested cereal. Nobody said salad. Thank you. Because that's not a quickie. You want to make a decent salad, you got to work a little bit, right? Bowl of ice cream. There you go. That's cold and quick. Is that a meal? And what's your hot go-to? Maybe you stick with the cereal and do oatmeal, something like that. My two, cereal for my cold, and a hot dog for my hot, with or without a bun, depending on how I'm feeling. All right, what are you guys talking about, and where are we at on time here? Hey, cool, we got 13 minutes, or we can wind her up early. Now, I can't wait to try this. It just came in this morning. Stuff is sticking to it. You gotta be careful here. Watch you guys' channel who keeps finding it. Okay, Duke Nukem Clothes. There's some several videos of people find stuff. I wouldn't have had the forethought, the wherewithal to video while I'm magnet fishing, and I don't think I would do it because I just know that I got a fishing rope in one hand and a phone in the other hand. It goes like that. And since you're water fishing, I know where it's going. Use top. Absolutely. Keep your users in line with W and with who. You bet. I did have a grilled ham and cheese sandwich with some thick ham. Yeah, a cold cut sandwich of some kind, or cold deli meat. That's a nice quickie. That was actually our dinner. My miss was getting ready to head out the door and said, hey, do you want to eat something before I go? And I was working like a madman getting show ready. Sure. And in comes a ham sandwich, cold ham sandwich on keto bread with some mayo, and it was wonderful. Do you put tomato and lettuce on your ham sandwich? If I'm thinking about it, if I got the time, I certainly would. And of course, a piece of cheese. And that's one I wouldn't even go on good cheese. A good old slab of American slices, whatever that stuff actually is. Cheese, processed cheese food, I think is what it says on the label. You like chicken salad? Hard to go wrong with that. For a quickie, I would do chicken salad if it came out of a tub, which always terrifies me to no end. Making a chicken salad as a quickie, too much work. That and tuna salad. Tuna salad's quicker and easier, I think, than making a chicken salad. I don't have to dice it up. You just scoop it out, throw some mayo in it. Do you guys like relish in your tuna salad? I like a little. And a little yellow mustard. Chest-mounted GoPro for magnet fishing. That makes a ton of sense. Now, I prefer cheddar on grilled cheese. Okay. I do American cheese on hot dogs. When I was a kid, you used to get those hot dogs that had cheese in the middle. Good memories. No, I don't put tomatoes, just ham, cheese, maybe a little garlic butter, huh? When frying. Nice. Hey, well, that's all we got cooking. Next week, next Thursday, totally up in the air. I don't have a sub for the show. I am not tentatively able to do the show. However, a discussion opened up in the last 2 days that may keep me here. And if that's the case, I will do a show. But if anybody's got somebody that they know who might be interested in covering, if you want to do the show next week, give me a couple of days' notice. We'll talk about it, work out some details. I'll give you all the secret codes and all that stuff. You can do the show any way you want. You have an hour to do with what you will. Or, you can copy mine, and I will gladly help you out any way I can. If you want to do a presentation, I can make slides for you and help you set things up. Whatever. But we got a week to know whether that's going to happen. If you see an announcement go up on Thursday morning that there's a show, then there will be a show from somebody. And if not, sometime during the day, I'll get my hands on a computer where I'm going to be, and I'll do one of those announcements that says, here's the show for today, no show. But the only way to get it in the live feed is if I schedule it as if it were going to be a show. I wanted to do it, but I'll be busy next Thursday, most likely during normal ADRAMADA time. Here it is. I'm putting a pin in it because we haven't had this discussion, and I'm going to make this happen. I've got, my gig world is getting huge. I just got a gig on the 2nd. The 3rd, I didn't get a show on the 2nd. The 4th, September 4th. Let me look at my Google Calendar here. So many gigs. Look at that. September. Okay, Monday the 2nd is Labor Day. Tuesday, I just got a gig that I haven't put in here yet. I have to have an announcement. Okay, here it is. Tuesday, September 10th. Somebody write me a note that I said this. We are doing a ADRAMADA Discord watch party. Well, I don't know what I just did here. What in the world? August. I just changed the format of my calendar, and I don't know how to change it back. Turn that off. Day, week, month. Okay, turn this back in a month. All right. Tuesday, the 10th. I'm just going to fill this in with 7 p.m. Central Time. Discord watch party. That way we can get it advertised for whenever I or anybody else is around. So there it is. Unless somebody's got an overriding, a better idea, I'm completely fine with that. But if not, here we go. We are now committed. So Tuesday, the 10th. And Patricia, I'm leaning on you to do the show, to do the setup and the tech if you can. But if you tell me, no, you can't, you're busy or whatever, I will pick up the gauntlet. And okay, there we go. So if you're watching this on recording, at the beginning of the show, I did the link for our Discord server. Heck, I could bring it up again. I'm just that kind of guy. Tuesday, September 10th, or whatever day of the week is. I've got the calendar off now. We're going to have a Discord watch party. We did that a couple weeks ago, actually like a month and a half ago now. We watched Godzilla -1. It was a great experience. A bunch of us were watching. We had a chat channel going to the side for those who wanted to have a little fun, and a little conversation during it and about it. I don't know the movie. We will figure that out, all of us this week. So get your suggestion boxes up. Let's have a movie selected. Today is Thursday, let's have a movie picked by Monday. Okay, get all your suggestions out, and we'll either agree on one on Monday or we'll draw one from a hat. And I may, try to convince you guys to join me in my obsession for Buckaroo Banzai. All right, let's wind things up. This has been fun. I'm going to change the banner and the description on today's show, so when people come to it, they'll say it was a show about fun command line things in Linux. Because, again, I just set that up really super speedy, thinking there was going to be no topic. Anything else going on here? Oh, yeah, we got to do this stuff. Hey, look at that. Hey, are you using Windows 11? One of the interesting things about Windows 11 to me is Notepad. There are some obvious and easily understood improvements to it. But one of the things that I actually don't like, just maybe because I'm not used to it, is it remembers all of the notepads you had open. They open up in tabs, which is cool. But if I use it the old way, I got to open up my show notes.txt file. I click that. Another instance of it opens because I always have two open files in notes. There's a ADRAMADA show checklist and there's show notes. So I got to close the second show notes and go to that. So if you just click on Notepad, all of your previously opened and non-closed text files come up. It's cool. I like it. I'm just not very well used to it. Anyway, if you want to join us at any time on Discord for any reason, just join us because it's a cool tech show. Cool, but if not, if you just want to see and join us for the watch party, the movie watch party, it's going to be there. What are you guys saying here? War Games. The missus and I watched the third Indy Jones last night. That holds up pretty well. And when I got the show ready, I wanted to go sit down for 5 minutes and take a break, and I watched the end of School of Rock, which also holds up very well. War Games, enjoy the one. Man, I enjoyed that watch party to no end. Yeah, we were supposed to do War Games, didn't have it though. Okay, well, we can look at War Games. We can find it through alternative methods. I have ways. All right, I did that. Let's do this then. We'll close this puppy out because I know how to close it out. Hey, I wish you all a great rest of the week. Take care of each other. Take serious steps to stay healthy. And, of course, if at all possible, call or visit your parents. And never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. With that, good night. I'll see you on ADRAMADA next time I see you. Maybe this coming Thursday, maybe not. We'll see. On the other platforms that I'm on. Until then, remember, how you do anything is how you do anything. Everything. Eep, hop, or ah.